Welcome to Invest. We'll talk about investing, finance, and professional development. So, I recently got a gift from somebody, and the gift is basically this Moleskin notebook. Obviously, it's just a notebook, a blank notebook without anything in it, and I don't know why. It's a new habit that I'm practicing. Is like just writing down my thoughts and carrying this book with me every now and then, and you could see that I've been just writing stuff on it whenever inspiration hits, or there are like ideas that comes to mind, or just questions that I have before like a meeting or a strategy session, or just like something that I want to keep in mind to remind myself, you know and so I spent some time like the last couple of days so far onto just structuralizing like five undeniable facts about life that I just want to like pass on to you guys. And this hopefully this is like something that you can use, for your own perspective in terms of how you pursue life going forward. um and the synopsis is basically something like this, like why I decided to do this. It's basically the relationship between materialism versus true happiness, or like a lot of money versus just being happy, right? And as I grew up over time, right, I think materialistic goods are great, like having a watch, it could be a Casio versus like a Patek Philippe, which obviously like multiple thousands of dollars, right? Or like driving a just like a regular car, like a Toyota Camry versus like nice car like a Lamborghini or something like that. Or drinking like a nice bottle that costs like, I don't know, $1,000 versus like a cheap bottle from like the gas station that costs like $15 or whatever. One of those like cheap bottles. Um, both of the things, despite their value that you appraise on it with monetary value, they both accomplish the same thing, right? Like with respect to the watch, right? I know it looks more grand and beautiful, and obviously it's like an artistic piece, but they do the same thing, right? Like a Casio watch versus like a Rolex, they do the same thing. They tell you the time. Or with respect to a car, which you know, unless it's like a really exotic vintage car, like I think buying like 2022 Rolls Royce Phantom, it's such a waste of money. It's like $550,000 for a car, versus driving a car that is conservative, durable, something that doesn't scream or ask for attention. They still do the same thing, right? They get you from point A to point B. And with respect to a bottle, I mean, I get it. It's like a indulgence, like you wanna treat yourself sometimes, but they both get you drunk at the end of the day. You know what I'm trying to say? So I kind of boil down all the like these are just like inspirational. I don't know. It just hit me when I was like working out, and also like when I was like listening to a podcast. And I kind of boiled down to five undeniable factors I want to just like pass on to you guys. So one on my notebook is that you know like I'm still young, I don't have children, but when you have children in later in the future, is that do not educate your children to be just rich with money, right? But educate them to be happy, right? So when they grow up, they know that the value of things, but not the price, right? I think it's important that we understand the intrinsic value of the things that we pursue, rather than just to put a price tag on something so you could have something to show for. Because as we know, these type of materialistic, artificially pumped up type of happiness only lasts you for so long, right? But I'd rather you pursue something that really give you that internal, intrinsic gratification, that you are pursuing your mission rather than just making a lot of money for the sake of making a lot of money. right? Second fact that I really I want to emphasize on is as you know, I eat relatively healthy and I work out like minimally 3 times a week. I try to go 4 or 5, but obviously sometimes I'm lazy myself. Um, but in terms of like recovery, we just taking care of your internal organs. Remember that food is a form of medicine, right? Because like if you don't eat your food as a form of medicine, I'm not saying you eat like only broccoli and chicken breast or something super clean all the time, but remember that you should always fuel your body or recover your body with the highest quality of food, right? Think of yourself as like a nice car. If you drive like a Maserati or like a, I don't know, a Pagani, exotic supercar, would you be putting some regular diesel or would you be putting some premium gas on it, right? You would maintain it, you would take it to the shop, right, to make sure that you all checked out, right? Because otherwise, if you don't take care of yourself, you'll need to eat medicine as a form of food later, which is just a huge negative repercussion later for yourself down the road. So you're just setting yourself up for a physical failure going forward. So something to think about, right? And the next thing is more of like a intrinsic relationship dynamic type of quote. Is that whoever loves you will never leave you, even if he or she has 100 reasons to give up. They will always find one reason to hold on, right? And this is just around like the recent experience with myself, like partying with certain people, also collaborating with a certain people, long-term friendships that kind of went sour because of different agenda. Learn to hold on to the ones that never gave up on you, right? And learn to hold on and partner with and spend time with the ones that are the real ones, right? And learn also to say no and walk away when it doesn't when you realize that the relationship, the hidden agenda between the two relationships are not aligned, and there's some misalignment or some sort of questionable factors, right? It's like Oprah said, right? If your you know jealousy can never like you can never have a best friend that's jealous of you, right? Or someone that wants something in behind, like pretending to be your friend, but they actually not. Especially as you guys becoming more and more successful, it will be extra difficult to actually identify people like that in your life. So it's important that you cultivate that early on, before you rally, basically. What I'm trying to say. And then if you the next two thing is basically there's a big difference between being human and being a human being. And what I mean by that is that there are people that just you know they go with their days, right, and they're very like selfish with their own being, right. But in terms of being a good human being, which is what I'm trying to emphasize, is that you practice empathy, you practice relatability, you learn to take care of others rather than yourself, right. And I think that's another important healthy behavioral characteristics that one should practice, because like we understand that this is true. If you work in the workforce in a corporate setting, the ones that advance the most, that people like the most, are the ones that are the most giving, right. They're not selfish, they're competent, and they're confident within themselves because they're comfortable with themselves. And for you to achieve that level, and get the public acceptance, is to be a giver, you know and rather than being just a human being that is very execution driven but only for themselves, which is it never really ends well, right. Business is all about relationships, and living it's all about relationship as well. So that's something that I've learned over time. And then lastly, just I want to pass on to you, before I keep rambling on and on and on. And I feel like I've been talking for a long time now, but hopefully this is helpful. Is that if you want to go fast, right, go alone, right? Just fast, but doesn't mean you're successful. But if you want to go far, right, you have to work together, right? You have to work with a village of people, which I'm very fortunate to be pursuing my goals and my visions alongside with you guys, right? And we know a company is called company. You cannot just be one person, right? And that's why I practice gratitude and appreciation for the amount of people that I've cultivated and also build a village of support system on this channel, but also in my life as well. So those are the I guess 5 factors that I want to just like pass on to you guys. It's and I think I'll continue to do this more. I think this Moleskin notebook, despite is so like it doesn't really look like much. It's just a blue notebook, but it makes you think, and it helps me practice a little bit more of self reflection at the same time. So hopefully this is it makes you think a little bit. And these are the things I typically like to do anyways. I like to discuss ideas and brainstorm, rather than just like factual stuff, right? But appreciate you and have a good one and take care.